how to start a garden. 13 months ago, we were right here. I was planting cabbage. We'd already had the sweet potatoes up. Well, you know, in a garden you can make plans and the universe will laugh. This little pumpkin's still coming on. These don't get very big, but they sure are tasty. And even my little cabbages are a little behind. But you need to start where you're at with what you've got. You can start anytime. Today's the first day of fall. Why did we pick today? Well, it's because it's today. 13 months ago, we were right here. Over here, we pre-planned this. We're going to set up a cold frame. We're also going to go ahead and add some cabbages to this cold frame. Setting up this bed is exactly the same as it would be no matter when you're starting. The principles are exactly the same. This garden did not start off like this. This is what I did to start that off. First off, you don't have to get extravagant. Almost anything can start a garden, but there's a few things we want to look at before we get going. The easiest way I know to start a garden is just to start laying down mulch. If you have leaves, if you can get a wood chip drop. I ran into some arborists trimming trees for the power company. Good mixture of hardwoods, leaves. They cut all this when it was green. Now we're using it as mulch. There's also hay and cow manure. If you've got neighbors feeding hay to their cows, that might be a really good source. But then again, it might just destroy all your efforts. As I discovered deep mulch gardening, I discovered Ruth Stout, which was all about hay. And I really like using hay in the mulch. But the thing about hay, right now in 2024, lots of fields are being sprayed with this persistent herbicide. It goes through the animal into their manure. It makes what used to be one of the best mulches pretty dangerous for your garden. So unless you know the source of your hay, be very, very careful. You would hate to lose all your work just because you got some free hay. You know, it's all about timing. 13 months ago, we had all the sweet potatoes picked. Right now, I hadn't even really started. But that's because it's timing. This year was different. I came up with that 4-pillar cycle: pile, plant, pick, and then you protect it. It continually moves, but there's no speed limit on there. This year, we had a very wet, cold spring. Things didn't really start kicking in till a little later. Now they really are kicking in. Today is Saturday, and you know what that means? We go to you and we celebrate what's going on in your garden. Our contributors have a great example of their fall harvest coming in. We'll take a look at that in a second. You just come in and you dump your mulch on the ground. You can use cardboard underneath if you'd like. You don't have to. It breaks down very fast. There's some benefits to that. If you don't have cardboard, just pile your mulch up. And what do you use for mulch? Wood chips, hay, grass, leaves, whatever organics you can get your hands on. And what we did here is we just brought it in by the wheelbarrow full and just piled it up. You want it at least 4 inches thick. Thicker is better. A lot thicker to start is even better. And it'll break down much faster than you have any idea. What we just looked at was starting from scratch. Principles are going to be the same, like I said. You don't plant into the mulch. You plant into the soil. So you have to move your mulch out of the way. Just remove that mulch, get down to bare soil. And once you're down to bare soil, you've got a couple different options. You can plant by seed, which we did over there. You just sprinkle a little seed on top, pat it in, water it in, you're good to go. And it really is just that easy. For your brassicas to have enough time to really get going, we started these inside when it was really, really hot. But now it's time to bring them out into the garden. And when you're going to transplant, you just dig down into that soil just deep enough to accommodate the root ball. 13 months after starting that new garden, your garden can look like this. Well, maybe not this chaotic, but you can have a lush, productive garden just by following these principles. And talking about timing, all these little brown spots, that's just the fall leaves starting to come in here. And it really is starting to change. Cold front came by this morning. We had a heck of a line of thunderstorms. Temperature's gonna drop, and I am gonna have to start harvesting. Now's a great time to go ahead and start laying that mulch in. Lay it in heavy, Cover your entire area. It really is almost to my knee as far as how deep this is. But the secret is the life in the soil takes care of everything. You want to feed that life in the soil, they'll take care of your plants. To do that, you put mulch down. It just stopped raining and I didn't bring a bowl out here. So while I get something to put these beans in, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our contributors and see what's going on in their gardens. Walter's doing the hardest thing you do in a small deep mulch garden. He's harvesting. And as he rode in, these tomatoes just taste fantastic. He's still got a lot of good production going. Winter is coming, and he's getting ready to remulch his garden. Walter, thank you for the inspiration all summer long. In Mike and Linda's fall East Texas garden, doesn't even look like it's slowing down. Those tomatoes are massive. It's a jungle out there. You still have peanuts to pick. As we move into winter, I don't even think you're going to notice. Thank you for showing the power of the mixed deep mulch. Bruce has a little different weather down in his Orlando deep mulch food forest. Not only different weather, but he has different produce coming in. Those cherries, those foot-long beans, or yard-long, that is incredible. Bruce is not only harvesting, he's piling up mulch and planting. All three pillars of the cycle of gardening. Thank you, Bruce. This is incredible. Art didn't update on whether or not his bananas have turned yellow yet, but he's still getting tons of okra, and his fall squash have started to come in. Art, testament to the deep mulch. Thank you for the update. Our contributors are absolutely fantastic. Leave a comment down below and let everybody know just how much you appreciate them sharing what's going on in their garden. And if you'd like to participate, there's no obligation and it doesn't cost anything. Just send in a photo now and again. Let us celebrate what's going on in your garden and help motivate others that might want to learn how to grow a garden. After all, this is where we get ideas. This is where we get inspiration. This is where I get the motivation to come out here right after a rainstorm and pick some okra. One viewer wrote in, all I do is pick okra. But when they're coming on, it's time to get them. You know, we like to freeze these just like this, and then you can cut them up real easy into whatever you're cooking. We also got a question about the slime off the okra. I use the okra cooking just about everything, whether it's stir fry or baking. Now that slime in a gumbo just acts as a thickening agent. Doesn't change the taste. It does kind of thicken whatever juice or sauce there is. We like it in just about everything, and it cooks up real easy, and it's very mild. It's a wonderful vegetable to have. Now I'm a little behind in the garden this year, but that's what I'm talking about, timing. But with the cycle of the garden, you always got to keep looking forward. So as we pull up the sweet potatoes, we're going to continue to mulch. We're going to continue to plant, because when we get a nice harvest, we can't just lay back, because at some point that harvest will get eaten, and we want things to come up after that. And the only way to do that is to plan ahead a little bit. And if you follow these principles, you can set up your own mixed deep mulch garden. And in 13 short months, you can have a productive, beautiful, chaotic looking garden just like this one. You know, I got tired of weeding. We came across this deep mulch method, and I started just mixing what I could get my hands on, putting it down thick, and it's done wonders for my garden. What's going on is that life under the soil takes care of your plants. So what we're trying to do is take care of that life under the soil. If you want to learn a little bit more about life in the soil, click that link right there, and I'll meet you back in the garden. And it's never too soon to start a garden, even if it's just a container on your windowsill. Till next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.